Live? Are we recording? Okay, now we're both. All right. Hi, everybody.
Woo!
Woo! And a new haircut.
Looks good, Julie.
I have chopped the back of my hair so much it's like there's no hair back here anymore.
It's
I kind of,
hot. You gotta
I
you
know.
gotta chop it off when it's hot.
I kind of love it. I've been
Yeah.
actually kind of loving it. And I got super sick last week. I mean, this is the first that I actually feel like really normal. I mean, I was better this weekend, but Tuesday night I got something, and literally I was supposed to be at T. Jefferson Parker's event, had two events on Wednesday. I was like down for the count, but it wasn't COVID. So, but this next thing that's going around is not fun. It was just cough, fever. The fever was the thing that got me this time, and like just not being able to catch your breath. So I thought it was it. Maybe that was RSV.
It sounds like COVID. But yeah, it could be RSV.
Yeah. Didn't think of the
Hmm.
RSV thing till just now. Because COVID, I
Yeah.
did two COVID tests and they were negative. So whatever.
Yeah.
And you would think that with all that time that I'd have lots of reading time. Couldn't focus
No.
for anything. Might have had to do with some of the stuff that was going on with some bigger things that were happening in the world. I
Whatever
I,
could you be talking about?
I have no idea, but it's just like, holy cow, I can't. So yeah, when I should have been reading, I've been doom scrolling and
What is that? The
I
Chinese
don't know today.
proverb, may you live in interesting times, which is like a curse.
Yeah.
I saw one thing that it was like somebody said, can we live in precedented times? We're tired of living in unprecedented times. Can we go back to precedented?
Although today, I will say today I've seen a couple of people say, is it called hope scrolling when I'm scrolling through it right now?
Because I didn't feel that way yesterday. Yesterday
I didn't feel that way yesterday, but I do feel that way today.
Yeah, seeing the money, because hey, you know what? It all comes down to money talks, baby. And money's talking right now. So
I just want to be able to go back to cat videos and elephant videos
yeah,
on social media.
I know.
Worry about
Although,
my 40th year high school reunion
exactly.
organization.
Fun stuff like that. We need to be back fun stuff like that. And good books. We all got good books.
Yes.
Although I have to say some of the memes of like, let's get ready, I mean, or let's go, have been pretty fun. I mean, there's a James Brown one that is just so good. So you know,
that gif is the gift that keeps on giving.
so it's just been, so that part of it's been kind of fun. Anyways, so I have no reading I personally have no reading to talk about. So thank God you two are here and we can get some good book recommendations for everybody. So Julia is going to start us off. So take it away.
I am. I'm talking about Backlist this week because we're in a bit of a lull right now. We have some big stuff coming out next week and the week after, but so this isn't actually Backlist. This just came out in paperback a couple of weeks ago. The Heat Will Kill You First. I think it was one of the first books I talked about on Tea Time almost or a little over a year ago when I started at Hachette. And so this was an immediate New York Times bestseller. It won LA Times Book Award. But this is I mean, last summer it came out during a heat wave. This summer it came out during a heat wave. It does kind of feel like summer just means one long heat wave at the moment. And I actually just got back from the East Coast. I was up in New Hampshire. And oh my goodness. I mean, I complain about California, but when you add heat with 75% humidity, it is like not
good.
Not a great
not
time.
good.
Not a great time. So yeah, but this is what's interesting about this book is it has hope, but also talks about obviously climate change and sort of what the effects of climate change are going to look like and how, and at the end sort of how we need to combat these, and you know how we have instruments in place to combat climate change. We just need to actually use them. And so it's a great book. Jeff Godell knows what he's talking about. His previous book, The Water Will Come, was about flooding, and was about also climate change, but more in the communities near the water. So say San Diego, that are going to have to deal with some of that. So he knows what he speaks of. He's a brilliant writer. He's a writer that, even while writing about a topic that, I don't know, it's like puts existential dread into my heart, he still makes you have some hope. So this is now out in paperback. So if you missed it in hardcover, it's a good one to revisit.
I like the idea that it's like, because sometimes you can get these things where it's just like doom, but there's got to be something that it's like, please tell us if there's something that like.
Well, and I feel like that paralyzes people, the doom. Like,
yeah. Then they feel like
where do you go from that?
Yeah, that they can't do anything, or they won't, it's just like, well, doesn't matter what I do,
Right.
So I like that about it. So yeah, I would love that you're doing backlist, because if I did have one that I was going to talk about, and I think I might have talked about this back way, Amanda would have to tell me, because when we were at Gabe's thing over the weekend, Roman still had up Stoner.
Oh, yeah.
And that is like, it's a New York Times, and I don't know if I've ever talked about Stoner before, but it's like, that would be a good one to bring up for backlist. So totally. Amanda could tell me if I've ever talked about it. All right, Andrea, what do you got?
Thank you for having us as usual. And I believe, like, my new strategy is staying off of social media as much as possible.
It's a good strategy.
You don't like fall into the doom loop. Use it like, if you're posting on Instagram about where you were at with all the flower bloom this weekend, something like that. And exactly. A little bit of news, and then just saying, nope, I've got to move on. I've got to be present. I've got to be in my life. I need to be laughing more with the people I love. I need to be traveling more with the people I love. I need to be talking to people in my community. But we're going to talk about a dystopian fiction title now in trade paper, just to mix things up. And now,
one of Amanda's favorite books, by the way.
Yes, one of Amanda's favorite books, with a fantastic new cover in the trade paper format here. $20 trade paper from Grove Press, and Grove Press from the copious times that I've talked about their lovely titles. And this is a co-written book by New York Times bestselling author of H's for Hawk, Helen McDonald, and first-time debut novelist Sin Blaché. And they wrote this during the lockdown period and had not met each other, okay, which is crazy. The backstory's great. Obviously connected online during the lockdown period and traded passages back and forth. And the story goes that there's some passages that they don't exactly know. It was like a fever dream of writing this book, and they're not sure about who wrote some of the passages, which I love. That's a really great story. And I believe it. They are not hype machines, these people. They're the real deal. And it was named a best book of 2023 from Book Riot and Scientific American. Who knew that two completely different publications would go for best book of 2023 for this title? The New York Public Library basically was a best books for adults for 2023 in hardcover, and a most anticipated book from Literary Hub and Book Page. So a lot of love out there for this book, and the indies embraced it. And the Washington Post said that it read like a Christopher Nolan movie. So there you go, just to give you a little flavor of all of the kudos and love for this book out there. And basically, Prophet is a new drug that is being developed by shady deep state forces. We think, we're not even sure. And basically what happens when you ingest this drug is it's basically it's driven by your nostalgia, and things manifest themselves in the world after, like, based on your inner nostalgia. And some bad things can happen. Yes, very bad things can happen. And the two protagonists who are charged with like trying to stop this from happening and get to the bottom of it before the world is destroyed through the nostalgia producing monstrous things that can occur, end up falling in love. So there's a little love story going on too. And this is a great summer read. It's a late beach read. You know, you're going to the mountains, pick it up, take it to your little cabin. Or if you're doing a staycation, this is a good one too. And so there you go. Prophet, Helen Macdonald and Sin Blaché.
Yep. Now it's a paperback. Good time to grab it. Now that it's a paperback. And that was, I mean, there was a lot of love for that with the indies. And I know I talked about it when it was in hardcover, that I had the opportunity to meet Helen when it was coming, before it came out. She's wonderful. So yeah, you read this, H is for Hope. Read anything she writes. She's amazing.
Helen's great. I was able to help, like I drove Helen around the Southwest back in the day for H is for Hawk, and that was lovely. She's
incredible. All right, Julia.
Good people.
Okay. So my next two actually are kind of both backlist and little previews. The first one, Imagine Me Gone by Adam Hazlitt.
Oh, okay. Can
I know Julie's a big evangelist for this one.
Oh my God.
So this came out in 2017. I just read it when I was in New Hampshire and at Lake Winnipesaukee. And it is, man, a stunning novel.
Right?
As you can see, it's a Pulitzer Prize finalist, National Book Award finalist, won the National Book Critics Circle, won the Los Angeles Times Book Award. And it is really, it's like, I don't know, it's not super plotty. So like, it's hard to like sort of describe, but just watching this family and what they go through, and also just like the care and precision that Hazlitt writes with, it is so gorgeously rendered. It'll make you cry, it'll make you laugh. You know, there's heartwarming parts and heartbreaking parts. And I just absolutely loved it. So if you haven't read that yet, I would recommend that you do, because in the January we have Mothers and Sons coming from Adam Hazlitt. So we have a new Hazlitt book. He hasn't written a book since Imagine Me Gone, and it's coming in January. So I thought, maybe go back to that one or read it for the first time before his new one comes, and it'll be this Mothers and Sons will be a big deal for us.
Yeah, it's going to be a big deal for everybody, because his writing is just chef's kiss. I mean, it's why you read novels. I mean, it is just, Julia, wasn't it just incredible?
It was amazing. And I flew across the country, like in the tail of Hurricane Beryl. So I had an extremely bumpy flight all the way across the country. And I was like, just had the book in my face, just like, okay, I don't want to stop,
and you can't. And like you said, it's just so beautifully rendered, because it's a really tough subject. I mean, there's not to say that it's just like, it's
not lighthearted.
Lighthearted. It's a summer read in that it is going to just envelop you. It's not it's
a summer read in that you can sit down and you will not want to stop reading it, but it's not it's not light. It
No.
is heavy, and there's heavy topics in it, but particularly mental health and mental illness
Right.
is one
Oh,
of
and the
the
family. I mean, I just heard the
topics.
family is just,
Yeah.
they just
And
break
you
your
just
heart.
they'll break your heart, but also you like want so much for them to good things for them.
Yeah.
And I think that like the way an author can really just like make you feel for these people, I think that's what he does so
Yeah.
wonderfully. So,
And the cover with the missing letters is
I mean,
just, I'm so glad they kept
really,
that. I'm glad that they kept that moving from the hardcover to the paperback, because
yeah,
it's one of the things that's just like everything about it. It's just brilliant. So read it.
yep.
All right, Andrea, what do you got?
Thank you. So the California Skywatcher by William A. Selby is what I'd like to talk about. This is from Heyday. I've done a lot of I've talked about a lot of their titles before. They're based out of the Bay Area and strictly California titles. So and we love working with them. They have an amazing backlist. This is coming out tomorrow. And the only copy that was in the store, it's already sold out at what I'm saying is it's already sold out at Warwick's, because there was no hard and fast date, and so somebody snapped it up immediately. So give a call to the store if you'd like to buy this for yourself, or gift it to somebody who would be interested in this, and they'll order it up post haste. So this is the first accessible trade bookstore book on the topic of California's weather, specifically to reach the market. Can you believe that? I mean, a lot of, there's like scientific books on this subject, but no, just like general weather enthusiast book that focuses specifically on California. So there's definitely a market out there, right? There's 125 color photographs and illustrations. And as climate change begins to it's demanding that we take a look at how it's affecting our weather, and how we need to pay more attention to it. This book is a great foundation to provide a baseline of understanding about where we're heading, and just like the ins and outs of California weather. And I'll just show you a couple of the insides are really quite lovely. It's like beautifully designed book. So that's a plus. Because some of these so it's just nice to have like some graphs and some photographs of the weather conditions and terms that they're talking about, as well as just like showing before and after in terms of climate change impact. So a really great title. And just today I received a note about, let me see, where is it? Yeah, a publicity update about California Skywatcher, and it was just reviewed in the Los Angeles Times, and the reviewer says Selby's greatest gift to readers is to reveal the climate as an indomitable equalizer. He consults great wordsmiths such as Joan Didion, Joni Mitchell, and Annie Dillard to convey the fear and awe that California weather inspires. So that's nice. So it's got a literary feel to it as well. So it's something for everybody. Somebody, is interested, like the scientist in your life, if you're a scientist, here you go. This is a great book for you that just specializes in California weather, but also somebody who's more literarily minded, who likes to go on walks and is a nature person. So something for everybody for this book.
I love it. And I think that it's interesting because California, I mean, we're one of agriculture. I mean, so it's like what happens here impacts a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think that some people don't think that our weather is like that exciting because we don't have like hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that. But
yeah,
I think, people like to like, tornado watchers and all that stuff. But what happens here with weather is really important.
Yeah. And also it's so varied because the state is large and like, it's long. So think about all the variations, and in terms of like coastal coastal environment is way different than, you know, your environment is way different than where I live in the mountains.
So
And then
different.
there's deserts, high deserts, low deserts, etc. So we have it all here. So
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
yeah, so I think this book is one of those titles that will be in stores for a long time, and it's just gonna, you know, have a lot of interest, especially over the holidays again, because people are gonna use, you know, it's like, oh, this is a perfect book for whoever, you know.
Yep, exactly.
So
Exactly. Okay, Julia, next.
Okay, so mine, I'm sort of dealing with the entire Obscura universe.
Okay.
So the first one we had was, Atlas Obscura. And if you guys don't know, I mean, I know booksellers are sort of traumatized by this because when it first came out, there was no stock and it was the holidays. And
You're bringing back PTSD.
I know. But if you're unaware of Atlas Obscura, it's this great sort of book. It's based on a website. There's also a website that talks about like all these cool places all over the world, places that maybe you haven't heard of, maybe you know are near places that you're going to. It's just a great sort of exploration of like weird, interesting, you know, off the beaten path kind of things around the world. And then we had Gastro Obscura. Well, I can't find it. Anyway, we had Gastro Obscura, which was food places around the world. And that like interesting different food items that people eat in different places. And in the fall, we've got Atlas Obscura Wildlife coming, which is an animals around the world and where to see them and different like rescues and all that kind of stuff. So if you're unaware, unaffiliated with the sort of Obscura brand, I think it's just they're a great series of gift books. I gifted them to myself and bought them myself before I worked for Hachette. And but I did encourage, I remember that first year that Atlas Obscura came out, I made my mom buy it for like multiple family members. Because I'm of course, when my mom is shopping for Christmas gifts for our family, you know, I she gives me names and I give book recommendations. I'm sure everyone who works in books has those people that you're like, okay, here's what you need to buy. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about the whole Obscura brand in general. Atlas Obscura and Gastro Obscura are both out, and they're these beautiful $40 hardcover books, and Wildlife is coming out in the fall for the holidays. So
well, Beth's on here and she said she didn't realize that Atlas Obscura was in book form because yeah, I think most people are familiar with it from being online.
Yeah.
And like where you go, like I know that like my kids, they always look at when they go somewhere, it's like, oh, what's the Obscura things to like off the beaten path stuff.
To do or to eat or to see or the whatever.
Right.
So
right. Just like the little hidden gems and treasures that like may not be like the normal things, but the books are beautiful and they're just, they really are.
And they're really they're like well organized and they've got lots of photos in them. And they're gorgeous.
They really are amazing.
Yep. So yeah, I wanted to talk.
So even if you do the online thing, the physical book is still something to look at because it really is.
It is so fun to flip through and just find cool things in and like I find new things all the time.
Yeah, they are amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, are we going 3 or 4 today? We going 4?
Sure. I mean, it's 4.
We can. I'll find one.
Find a 4th, Julia.
Yeah.
All right, go, Andrea.
Yes. Animals Brag About Their Bottoms.
Oh my God, I love it.
By Maki Saito, from Greystone Kids, one of our north of the border fine publishers up there in the wilds of Canada. I talked about this book when it was in a hardcover format. Now it's in board book format, and it's, I think, perfect for a board book. And as you can see, where, you know, they're sort of talking So and the thing I like about this book, that there's like a lot of this where there's like size differential too, so you can, like kids can learn about like, big animals and small animals and the contrast. But then everybody's starting to like, show off their bums. And it's just, the artwork is whimsical and gorgeous. And what kid is not going to want to talk about animal butts? And this is so charming, and you can't help but smile.
And the illustrations are awesome.
Yeah. And as we say, as we were talking about, we all look at the baboon. Okay. I love this book, and we all need a little bit more joy and delight and in our lives right now. And so this is a book that would be like, it's a great gift for babies, but also for their parents, grandparents, aunties, and uncles, who will be reading this book to the children, because you can't, oh my goodness.
It's so good.
Yeah, I love it. So this is a winner, and one of those books that, I think should be in every bookstore in the land, and a lot of gift stores as well. So, yay.
This was definitely going in my shopping bag.
Yeah. Look, oh, I know, for like, the little grandbabies.
The little grands are going to need that one in their library.
Grands.
That is just too cute. My God, I love it. Okay, Julia, you got a fourth one for us?
Yeah, I found one. Okay.
Hey.
So, I don't know about you, but I have this complaint of the New Yorkers in my life. That whenever I go to New York and visit them, they always want to take me to Mexican food. And I'm like, and I'm like, I love you and I see you, and I think that you think that this Mexican food is good, and we're in New York City. So please take me to an Eastern European restaurant where you win the battle.
Win.
I live in Los Angeles, so don't take me to Mexican food, because I have it just fine. Thank you so much. What I don't have is Ukrainian food. What I don't have is pierogies. So we have the Authentic Ukrainian Kitchen cookbook. My favorite restaurant in New York City is a restaurant called Veselka, which is an old punk rock hangout that serves arugula and goat cheese pierogies, which I used to have shipped to me during lockdown.
Oh my God, I love that.
I missed it so much. Yes. And so this is an awesome cookbook of Ukrainian cooking. I think sometimes people think that Eastern European peasant food is sort of beneath them, and it's hearty and thick and all of that. And those things, I mean, it is hearty and thick. And it's a lot of pickled stuff. But man, oh man, is it delicious. So this book is so fun to cook from. It's a sort of a beautiful celebration of Ukrainian culture and Ukrainian cooking, and thinking about the food of a place like the Ukraine and where it comes from, and sort of who it feeds. And I feel like as a person from southern Italy who was taught how to cook basically peasant food from Italy, I'm always excited about cooking the peasant food of other cultures. And this is really like, this is that. So it may be one that you cook a little bit more from in the wintertime and not the summer, because it is a lot of them are heartier meals. But I'm going to tell you, a bowl of cold borscht when it's this hot out, I mean, hits the spot. Yeah, exactly.
I want that cherry cake. That thing.
I know, right? The desserts are insane. They're so good.
Yeah.
I have a is beautiful.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous cookbook. I have one right here. It's really a gorgeous look at sort of Ukrainian food and Ukrainian culture and life and stuff like that. So So, and if you're in New York City, you should go eat a Veselka.
That's the best.
Arugula and goat cheese pierogies. I'm telling you.
That's the
Oh,
tip
that
of the
sounds
day.
good.
That's the tip of the day. Because I'm the same way, Julia. My daughter, she lives in Chicago, poor thing, grew up here in San Diego, so has been searching everywhere in Chicago to find good Mexican food. It's just like, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Chicago has better Mexican food. There's a Mexican neighborhood in Chicago, and it's good. I've found good Mexican food. New York City, it's like, I'm sorry to any New Yorker that is listening, but it's like it's frou bougie Mexican food.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, fine, but like I can go to the corner and the guy who's like running a taco stand makes the best tacos you've ever eaten in your whole life.
In your whole
Why
life.
would I eat this here?
Right.
And yeah,
spend
for like
$100
$3 per taco too.
Right.
I mean, you know, yeah, and I'm getting like a $10 taco in New York. And down the street, there's a pierogi place that will knock me down, like just like knock me down in the best way possible. I won't be able to get up. I'll be so happy.
Right.
Why would I eat anything but that?
When you're in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Celebrate it, New Yorkers.
Celebrate it.
Don't you? Pierogies. Yeah.
Although I have to say, somebody from California does need to go to New York and like open up a good Mexican restaurant.
I mean, Julie, God. You'll never hear the end.
You can get like, you know, Central and South American food and great Cuban food, but you're hard pressed. You're hard pressed for Mexican.
Yep. All right, Andrea, take us home.
Okay. I'm going to talk about a series here from Tenoys, a new publisher for us, and they do high-end fashion, art and photography books, as well as beautiful journals and blank books and gorgeous sets of cards that are just really stunning. They do a great job. And so I wanted to talk about the Black book of fashion and the Pink book of fashion, since they're basically the same book, but focusing on different colors in design and fashion. And just, you know, wanted to show you some of these. They're just beautiful. Oh, that's a perfect photo of how they look, like coffee table books.
So nice.
And you can see how each book, the sides of the pages are dyed to coincide with the color that they're focusing on. So that's really nice. And these books, we can't keep these books in stock. You know, people are bringing like these books in, and we're seeing reorders almost immediately because people are drawn to them. They look great. They feel good. The you know, reproductive sorry, the wow, the reproduction values, they're saturated images, just really high quality books. So that's the Black book, Fashion, Style and Stories, and the Pink book, Fashion, Styles and Stories, for your coffee table and gifting needs.
I love it. Those do really look good together. So you've got anybody that's in the fashion, even adjacent.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of like, I also think that these would like for people who are interested in design and everything, but I also can see these books in businesses that, like, you know, like a floral design business, you know, or whatever. I could see those on the shelves or on a table, that sort of thing. So
yep. All right, I'm gonna finish the talk.
What a coup. Sorry, what a coup that you get to sell Tenoys, Andrea. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's they're really beautiful books and
gorgeous,
wide ranging. Yeah.
All right, I know I teased it a little bit when we first started talking. Okay, wait a minute. I don't know if I can do this or not. Hold on. Pardon my technology or lack thereof. I swear to God. Okay, here we go. That's what I was looking for. I know I teased it a little bit when we first started talking, so I want to talk really quickly about Stoner. So if you haven't read this book, this is another one of those that's like this quiet, not a lot happens. It's at the end of the, you know, he's born. It's about this man's life, John Stoner. Or not John, I think his name is John though too. It's by John Williams.
William Stoner.
William Stoner. That's it. William Stoner by John Williams. I knew it was one of those. There was a couple names in there by John McMahon. There's all kinds of Johns and Williams and whatever. Anyways, I'm totally not destroying this description of this book. But basically, he's born at the end of the 19th century. It's a story of his life. He goes off to college. So it's just another one of those like slow plodding books that not a lot happens, but it just envelops you and you just can't stop reading it. And it is just so well done. And it was an amazing book. It was one of those books that when it came out, everyone in the store, because it was a reissue. I think it was originally written in the 40s, maybe. I think something like that.
I think it was like the 60s. I think it was 60s.
Maybe somewhere like that. It's somewhere like that. But anyways, they did a reissue, I don't know, mid 2000s maybe, and we couldn't stop talking about it. And every customer that read it, every book club that read it, so if you haven't heard us talking about it, pick up Stoner. It's a good one. And I was thinking,
oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I just that is a beautiful cover that New York Review of Books put on, on that book, because I've seen the older reissues, and this just really elevates the whole package for sure. It's beautiful.
And it's not a big book. It's not a huge story, but oh my God, it's just one of those that's just so good. So if you are in the mood for a quiet novel, it's a good one for you. And I was thinking today, I couldn't remember what I was thinking about. I tried the whole time we were sitting on tea time. I was trying to think of something because I was talking about I was thinking about like summer read, and it's like, oh, I can't recommend a summer read because it's like, but it's only July and we've got still a lot of summer ahead of us. But it feels like, for whatever reason, it feels like we're in the depths of fall right now. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting into the future.
But I also will say that Stoner is a book that I have never ever met someone who has read that book that isn't obsessed with that book.
It's true.
Yeah,
no one just says,
yeah, no one's like, no, it was fine. People are like they're like in love with that book. Yeah.
Yeah. It's special. It's kind of magical.
It is a really special book. It's amazing. So, and I was glad that I saw it at Romans, because I was like, it just reminded me. It's like, oh, we should talk about that one. So if I ever remember the one that I was thinking about for a summer reading, I'll talk about it next week. Kind of doubt it. My brain's a little old. There was a lot of super great chatter in the chat box going on about y'all are reading some great stuff and having some fun. So keep it up. Keep up the good reading. It's been fun. I don't know if I got. Oh, Deborah Harkness will be here this Saturday. So if you're around San Diego, still a few tickets left, not that many. We got a couple other in-store events happening. The one about graceful aging this weekend, which I think is a good one. I picked some really interesting ones this summer because summer's always a little bit slow. So I've got the graceful aging. I have somebody that's gonna do singing bowls.
Oh, really?
Yes, like singing like that. So I've got somebody coming to do that, which I think is gonna be super fun.
Yeah.
And then somebody's coming to do the tapping, like gonna come and do a demonstration on tapping, not tap dancing. Like tapping. So
okay.
I know. I was like, yeah, let's try it. Let's do some fun stuff. So look at our website. We got some fun things happening this summer. And we will be back here. We're gonna probably this fall. Amanda and I are gonna be gone sometime. So it's gonna be kind of interesting what we're gonna do come the fall on a few of these Mondays, but we'll figure it out. We'll keep you posted. So everybody have a good week reading, and we will see you all next Monday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.